Hey guys, huge nerfs announced. They just announced patch 2.13. It's going to probably completely shake up the game. Many archetypes dominant will probably never see play again. The ones that do will probably see play only in a fraction of their former strength. Just massive nerfs. The game just won't be the same. So if you like the meta, bad news. If you hate the meta, great news. So definitely giving some room for new archetypes and new playstyles to come up. So first we got, and this is, I almost want to say this to the last, but because it's the one that no one expected, Iron Brown Brute going to 8 mana. Realistically, this deck is on the margins anyways and is largely doing success to exploit Garrote Rogue. For Quest Lifesteal Demon Hunter, and Brute DH has kind of been on the margins as well. It kind of can do well in tournaments with an aggro ban, but it just kind of gets rolled by aggro decks, which are kind of not that common right now. So that's why it's kind of doing well. But at 8 mana, I think Brute is probably unplayable unless even more draw synergy comes up. I know more draw synergy, but it's just getting 8 cards in one turn is going to be really tough. You'll be playing these for 0 nearly as often. So it's just going to be a thing of this card is just not going to be. You're not going to get the high rolls, and even the medium rolls, you're going to have to spend mana. It's going to slow you down, and that just makes a huge difference in the deck. So this card, and maybe Quest DH as a whole, might just be dead. This is a huge nerf and an unexpected one. So next we got Mind Raider Lucia. This was a very expected one. Swap hands and decks with your opponent until the next turn to replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's hand until the next turn. So you could theoretically use this to, if your opponent has a bunch of burn, to kill your opponent. But are you gonna? And you can use it to get a turn worth of value, kind of like a crappy secret passage for your opponent's hand. But that being said, do you really want to run this? I mean, honestly, I don't know if you'd run this at 2 mana. Maybe somebody can find some niche scenario where you want to steal something from your opponent's hand, but not really steal, borrow. But overall, I think this card is probably unplayable. It's probably just 1600 dust. I don't see why it would be play anymore. Next we got Perpetual Flame, going from 1 to 2 mana. This is a very big nerf. Just having 1 extra mana in the early games, setting it up with your quest activity is a very big deal. That being said, if aggro is common, this card's still strong. In the quest archetype, at least, it's unplayable, I'd say, without the quest now. But it does have overdraft as well. But it's just going to be a lot more difficult. You can't get it off Wand Maker, so it's just going to be a lot less useful than it was before. It takes a lot more of your turn. So this is definitely a nerf that will hit question more often. A player might go like Serpentine Portal, Coin, Perpetual Flame. Like if you get a Divine Shield minion, for example, or you get a 4 health minion, and by just having that additional mana, it makes it harder to do that. A lot easier for good players to play around Perpetual Flame, making it a lot worse. So this is a huge nerf. And Question got another nerf as well, which is play 3 overloaded cards. This Question is often running out of value towards the end, so this matters a lot. The quest is going to get down a lot slower, so you're very unlikely to complete it quickly because just having one more thing to do before you get the reward makes a big difference. Question is often you're running out of value. You just need that one other card to hit. So Question could still, if aggro is common, the reality is this deck is still going to see play if aggro is common, but it's just going to be the power level is so much weaker overall. But the reality is, I think this was probably if there's Warlock nerfs coming up. If Warlock becomes less common, this deck would just absolutely annihilate the meta. So it's an important nerf given the Warlock nerfs. Next we got Demon Seed. It's a change to the quest line. The first 2 take 8 on both of them. This makes it a lot harder to get Flesh Giant and a lot harder to get the quest on, and you just take more damage. So now you're going to have 3 less life overall. It's going to take you a lot harder to get these quest lines done. The heal can actually absolutely matter in aggressive matchups, and it just takes you longer to get your full quest on. It's just a very big nerf. Now it's still inevitability in the true controlled matchup, so it will still. This kind of card I could see Warlock disappearing and it coming back. The reality is the powerful effect is despite how slow it is just so strong that But I don't think it's going to be dominant because the reality is your opponents are just going to kill you, and so it's not going to matter if you get the quest done. You're not going to get the heal. You're going to have to take so many more taps before you get these quest-like effects. And the other big nerf is Rune Methyl Rod going to 4 mana. So after you draw cards, reduce the cards in your hand. I think this card is just completely unplayable right now. Just being able to squeeze it in on 4 is just going to be so awkward. Often, it's even, and if God forbid there's any ooze in the meta, it's just so slow. You can't coin this out into backfire. So just any aggressive matchup now. Maybe if you need it for some combo deck, but the reality is just having it on 4 makes a massive difference, especially with Warlock that's trying to get taps in all the time. I think this card's completely unplayable. I think realistically some form of the non-Rune Methyl Rod that runs a Marathon, or I can't pronounce it right. Everyone always tells me, and I'm not there. I can't do it. That will probably see play, but it's definitely going to be a lot weaker. You also could see a potential, which would be actually very interesting now, a potential full handlock build that doesn't run this stuff. But the quest at the end of the day is so inevitability matters. So I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, just overall, just getting that extra heal and taking longer to do your quest. So taking the extra damage, taking longer to do your quest, and not having the Rune Methyl Rod, so you can't do mana cheating. Because just at 4 mana, it's just so slow. So susceptible. Like, you play this right as your opponents are getting their power turns gone. So what's nice about turn 3 is you can kind of get it going often before your opponent starts really slapping on the pressure. So right as you want to slap on the pressure, you want to play Rune Methyl Rod? No. You want to go solo red. But like now, they put the pressure again. You're gonna have so many games. So it's completely unplayable in my opinion. So the card's dead. Next we have buffs. So first we have Leatherworking Kit. After a friendly beast dies, draw a beast and give it +1 upon lose 1 durability. This actually could open up a completely new archetype. It's actually very strong now because at the end of the day, 1 mana, draw 3 +1/+1, and it does the natural link beast. So if you can find a deck, there are things like Dire Frenzy. There are cards that have natural beast synergy in the Hunter set right now. So if you can make a deck work, this slots in perfectly nicely, where you can just keep on putting more and more beast pressure, and you're going to just draw a beast. Like the fact that you can play this and it can get you 3 beast draws with +1/+1 for 1 mana, even if it's over time. If you're just continuously putting on pressure, now finding the way to do that, finding a way to smooth out your curve is very tricky. But overall, this card is very playable now. It's about building the right deck for it, but very strong card now, I'd say. At 1 mana, you can play it on turn 1. You don't have to. On turn 2, it's just so awkward. You can coin it out on 1 with a 1-drop. A lot of good things you can do with it now. Selected Breeder. Discover a copy of your beast in your deck. At 1/3, this is barely understated. Discovers a card, and it has synergy with the beast synergy. You can get multiple copies of good beast. I could see this being run even a non-fully beast synergy. You just discover lots of copies of maybe your powerful beast, especially if they get buffed already. This card looks really good right now. So lots of potential for deck builders, and it also could just be a good tempo value card. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, but could be something fancy for sure. Next we got Wildfire. Increases the damage of your hero power by 1. This looks really good. You can just play it on 1 and then ping, and I think you'll see they're trying to build up ping mage, but I don't even think they have to. I could see, it would be ironic because you could see they also buff Mordress to 8 mana, to 8/8, but it still does the 10 damage to everybody when you've done 10 damage. But the reality is that you don't even need that. You might just run this in Quest Mage to get your fire quest and then use powerful pings in there immediately. I don't know. They already have a lot of really good powerful fire spells, so they don't really need more. But I could see that happening. This is very useful. But being able to play this on 1 and then ping on 2 is huge. And having Mordress, being able to, like, if you got it to 10, 1, you could just play it on 8 if you got it done quickly. But 2, you could ping on 10 and then play it to like complete the quest and play it. So if it was a slower matchup. So overall, these cards now building the deck, making it work as a whole. That's the tough spot, but overall, these cards are very playable now. So it's about building the right deck, building the right synergies, building the right timing on your win condition, all of that stuff. Next we got Stormwind Freebooter. Give your hero +2 attack this turn. Now this is very much an arena feel where now this card's very, very strong as a stat wise. Just a 3/4, give your hero +2 attack. Just being able to play it and value trade a 2-drop and then have a 3/4 on board. In any sort of board matchup, it's huge. Can put on pressure. Very, very good. And Stonewall Anchorman now is a 4/6. So this card definitely seems a lot more playable now. Just at 4/5, so often you wouldn't be able to kill it. The 1 health absolutely matters. I was playing Control Warrior the other day, just getting in on we were trying to test out jank, and there are a few scenarios where I was like, wow, if I had this 1 extra health, this would actually matter a lot. Because I would, I had my opponent had, for example, a Golem from Kazakis. 4/5, just gets owned. 4/6, does 4 damage, takes a draw, has a 4/1. Big deal, big difference. So definitely a big improvement. Now, Warrior sucks, so we'll see if it can make it work. Do you just slot these into Rush Warrior and play Arena Stone, and the meta gets weaker enough? Can you make a control build with Pirates? Can you make a quest build with Pirates? That's what I'm sort of thinking. And you can see they clearly are trying to push the quest. Bloodsail Deckhand. This next window weapon costs 1 less. I mean, this is a fantastic 1-drop. So it's about if you have a good weapon. I think one of the weird things about Warrior right now is just not having the right weapon, where the reality is Warrior is often running Sword Eaters. So Sword Eater is much more efficient. And, the 4-mana weapon, while good, if there's not that many minions on the board and you're taking damage, like if your opponent's not playing a heavy minion deck, can be quite weak. But overall, this is very strong. So, I could definitely see it if a aggressive Warrior build starts seeing play, you definitely want to run this, just being able to get your weapon for cheaper. And it's just a blazing battle mage at the end of the day with a 1-mana discount. So, compare this to the elemental card for Shaman, but there's a lot more elemental cards, so that definitely the discount is a lot more relevant. But that being said, this is just overstated effect. So none of these cards are actually, these are not like really powerful cards. These aren't powerful cards the way Quest is a powerful card. It's not a powerful card the way Moomin Thorald is a powerful card. It's not a powerful card the way Lucia. So this is what I sometimes worry about. This is what I've said many times, is they nerf the cool cards and they buff the boring cards. So we'll see. The reality is these are not that interesting of cards. They're not interesting of design. They're a little bit more powerful, so they're trying to make other cards like Quest Warrior more interesting and more playable. But that being said, they're just not that interesting overall. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, having additional stats, it matters. So I could definitely see, especially if Warrior is in a better place in the meta, combined with these buffs, Warrior could definitely see play. Rush Warrior already has had okay stats for a long time, but nobody wants to play it. Maybe these changes, maybe you play a Pirate Rush Warrior. Well, maybe you play a Quest Warrior. Maybe it's good enough to see play. So that's all I got for you guys. There's also Battlegrounds updates, but yeah, I hope you guys found that interesting and enjoy.